on digital radio, on the app, on your smart speaker, on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook.
The Sports Cast. Expect the unexpected.
The Jersey Boys Sports Talk presented by The Sports Cast.
The Jersey Boys Sports Talk with Victor Arocho and Byron Jones. And here's your host, Victor Arocho.
Hey, what's going on? Live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk, hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho, brought to you by the Sportscast. Today is February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to all our channels. Subscribe to the Sportscast on all our channels, YouTube, X, Spotify, iTunes. And for all your streaming, your favorite podcast streaming, you can look up Jersey Boys Sports Talk. Please leave us a rating and a review. It'll help us out tremendously. Don't forget, smash the like button if you like our show. Please subscribe on YouTube and or our Facebook to the Sportscast. We stream live every Thursday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. We'd love for you to be on our show. We'd like to listen to your comments. We'd like to give you some responses. So let's get our show going on. Mr. Byron Jones, how are you doing today? You must be happy because you got the right pick. What's happening?
What does that say across about it? Mr. I told y'all. There you go. Mr. I told y'all. I told you. I thought I was crazy. All y'all ganged up on me. Yes. I'm reveling in my glory.
You have the right, but I'll make a comment. But right now we have in our green room a major Dolphin fan. He is on normally he is one of the hosts of the WCFL Dolphin. He's a major Dolphin fan and a great sports enthusiast. Let's welcome to our show, Mr. Saul Winters, Dolphin Winters. Welcome to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk.
Vic, Byron, it's always a pleasure coming on here. Thank you, guys. What's going on?
We're happy. We're happy to hear because we got a lot of stuff we got to talk about. But let me start with Byron first of all. Okay, so number one. I don't know what Santiago has here. Here you go. Let's just get this going. All right. So last week, we had our show, and what happens is we had 5 people on our show, and a lot of times we'll all have either we'll be unanimous or we'll have a divide on who we think is going to win a game.
Right.
But I will tell you, anytime that everybody on the show picks a team and Byron picks the opposite, but he's the only one. So it works more. So far, it's worked almost 100% of the time. When he's the only one that picks the other team, he usually gets it right. So last week, there was 5 of us, and everybody pretty much said, and I'm going to go on record, and Byron, you can testify to this. I always started off, to me, the Eagles are the better team.
Right.
But I'm going with the Chiefs because every time I went against Patrick Mahomes, I had lost, right? They usually don't make mistakes in the playoffs. And all the reasons that, a lot of other people also said, I went with the Chiefs. Everybody else said the same thing. The Eagles. I'm going with the Chiefs, right? And then first they started making fun of me, but they still went to Chiefs. Byron was like, I'm going with the Eagles, fly. And he did his flying motion with his long arms, and it came and going. He's so big that he goes off screen. Look at this. His flies go off screen. And he predicted a blowout. And Vegas had him by 1. So Byron predicted a blowout, which I was like, I didn't think it's possible. Number one. So I just want to give Byron nothing but kudos, nothing but credit, because he got it right across the board. I don't know how he got it right. I don't know what was his thinking. Maybe Byron, you could tell us why you were thinking that way. But he did get it right, so I want to give you the kudos to that. I'm happy for the Philadelphia fans. I'm happy for Saquon Barkley. I know Byron doesn't want to mention his name. He's not happy for him, but I will make my comments afterwards. So, Byron, I'll let you take the stage. Since you are the king of the show right now. So, there you go.
That's right. I told y'all that was going to happen. I told you. Yes, I am going to say it. Yes, repeatedly, I'm going to say it. The reason why I said that, didn't tell you that, is that it was a bad matchup from the beginning. You could see the same thing with the offensive line from Tampa when they played Tampa, at the Super Bowl a few years ago. That for some reason, the Kansas City Chiefs went into this game thinking that they could, win with that pretty much makeshift line that they had. They had an all-pro guard, Tooney. They had to move him out the left tackle because all the other tackles that they put out there sucked. That's the only way you can say it. And it didn't work because the Philadelphia did not blitz. You never hear about anybody, like Tampa blitz, the linebackers or whatever. But Philadelphia didn't have to do that. They had that big old boy in there, Jalen Carter. They had Jordan Davis. They had Josh Sweat, who had 2.5 sacks, and Nolan Smith. And when they went wide as they were, the defensive end, there was no way a converted, and he's all pro guy, match up with the speed coming off the edge. It wasn't going to happen. Then you had a second or third string guard was going to go against Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter. Was not happening. They won because they were more physical on the offensive line. They were more physical on the defensive line. And that's why I picked the Philadelphia Eagles as much as I did not want to. But being a defensive lineman, you could see that it was a bad matchup from the beginning. I'm done with the Mr. I told you so.
You were right. You didn't give us that whole piece last week, but you picked it. So, Eric, Mr. Winters, what were your thoughts?
You said Eric, that's Saul, but
sorry, Saul. I apologize. You're killing me with Dolphin Winters. I got Byron with a different name every week. So
hey,
it's easy. It's Victor Arocho.
I'll say this, man. You got to give kudos and congrats to the Philadelphia Eagles on that victory. And it's a double-edged sword. I picked the Eagles also to win the Super Bowl, and I've actually said it on the WCFL Dolphins Talk. If the Eagles played like that against Washington, Kansas City had no chance. And the only way you beat Kansas City is you just got to put your foot on their neck and you got to keep scoring. And sure enough, I didn't expect them to just do what they did. They just did it methodically for 55 minutes out of a 60-minute game. Those 22 points Kansas City scored are garbage points. They dominated Kansas City. Flat out.
Well, I will tell you, I agree with Byron. I mean, when Tampa beat them, it was again their offensive line. I didn't think their offensive line was as bad as Byron knew it was. Igana against Patrick Mahomes is a tough guy to go. That was the worst game I've ever seen him in his career. Number one. Number two, look, for several years, obviously I'm a Giant fan. I'll take the Eagles over Dallas anytime, right?
Yeah.
But I am on record stating that the Eagles were a better team than the Chiefs. I picked the Eagles when they lost to the Chiefs, right, in the first Super Bowl they played.
Right.
I picked them. They were a better team. Their defense, they broke a record. Their defense had 72 sacks in that game. They didn't rush him. They didn't hurry him, and they didn't get one sack in that game from Mahomes. Right? And my biggest problem, and me and Byron were talking about, is because the defensive coordinator at the time made zero adjustments. And I'm like, okay, you gotta Brady, any quarterbacks out there is known that you gotta rattle them somewhat. You have 72 sacks in the season, and you didn't even get a hurry on this guy, and you expect to beat him. So, for me, again, I thought they were a better team. I just said, look, if these guys go into this the same way that they did last time, and they don't make adjustments, and they don't put pressure on Mahomes, right? You're going to be in for a long day because they're a tough team if they don't turn the ball over. And historically, if you go into – because they've been in – how many Super Bowls, and they've been in 7 AFCs. If once they're in the playoffs, their turnover ratio is pretty much like nil. It was less than 3 or 5. Okay, they had 6 sacks, two interceptions, a fumble. I mean, they combined more turnovers and situations in one game than they did in the 7 years that they were going to the AFC championships.
Well, Vic, think about this for a second. Vic Fangio, a defensive coordinator we had in Miami just a year ago,
Yes.
clearly sat there and saw something that was going on in our organization and said, you know what, this is not right for me. I want out of here. And he got his release. And he went right to the Philadelphia Eagles, which were the last in 3 different positions in defense. 32nd in one category, 30th in 2 other categories. He came here to Philadelphia, brought them all to number one defense in the NFL, and showed what you can do with players that want to play instead of party.
Yeah, they beefed up the defensive secondary. That was what's hurting them too. I mean, their secondary was definitely heads over here a lot better. Byron, because you were big on their secondary for the last couple of years.
Yeah, because they turned around and they drafted all them young boys back there. Mitchell, the G, he returned the interception, for a touchdown in the game. They got CJ, Johnson Garter back there. Blankenship, their secondary is really good. And they got Slay. Can't forget about big play Slay, and Bradbury didn't play the whole year because of these young guys. So yes, they were loaded. They loaded Harry Roseman. You have to give him his kudos. Another Jersey guy from Marlboro, New Jersey. As far as being probably most likely the best GM in football, because he identifies a weakness. And it was the secondary. He attacked that. They signed Zach Braun, all-pro linebacker. Who would think that this guy was going to be, all-pro linebacker? And then, finagling in the draft to get Jalen Carter, even though people thought, oh, well, he's a bad guy. He was this. And, believed in the kid enough that he's going to come there, and perform. And, that's what happens when you got a good GM. And, he did the right thing. And, he turned the key, at the right time. And these guys performed at the highest stage. And they got a Super Bowl because of it.
Well, let me tell you, I didn't think D'Angelo. I thought it was a good defensive coach, but I also was thinking Brian Flores was part of it, because Brian Flores is a defensive coach. He's also a defensive head coach now, right? A defensive coordinator now. But let me tell you, Byron, you know how I've been with the Eagles all for the last 3 years, right? I just felt, and look, it showed. They weren't, they collapsed at one point. They lost in the Super Bowl. They had some issues in the locker room. I think Saquon made a big difference. We'll talk about that in a second, right? But what I thought is that I always felt that on paper they were so much a better team than they were playing for the last 3 years. Like, I wanted to see them dominate a game. And let me tell you, if there was a time for it all to come together, it came together on the biggest stage of football, which is the Super Bowl. That was the team I was looking for to be playing against one of these weaker teams in the division during the regular season. And that's what I never saw. But I saw in that Super Bowl, because granted, Jalen Hurts played a great game, was the MVP. But come on, at the end of the day, in my opinion, I want your opinion, see what you guys think. That defense, the defense won that game. They controlled that game. They scored. They did. The defense, in my opinion, won the game. Jalen did what he needed to do, and he did it well, because in the game he lost, he threw for 100 more yards. Okay, this game he didn't throw for 300 something yards. That defense was incredible. Thoughts on that, Saul?
The defense alone was poetry in motion. And like I kept telling everybody, and I told everybody at my job or whoever wanted to talk about it, I said, it's going to be a shame to watch a defensive coordinator to have all the pieces that he needs to orchestrate his perfect plan. And that's exactly what that was. To sit there and see a team that everybody felt that there was a dynasty team to be shut down the way they were. I mean, they had 20 yards and 1 first down at halftime. That is insane to think that a two-time defending Super Bowl champion team would be manhandled. If this was Madden, you had to hand the controllers over. 21-0 shutout at halftime. Like literally, whoever thought that Kansas City would be getting shut out 24-0, then 34-0. At one point in time, Vic, I'm not gonna lie to you, I thought they were gonna get goose egg in the Super Bowl. I said, oh my God. I said they might get a goose egg out of them, and that was insane.
So you're on the same page with me, right? The
Yes.
defense was
Mm-hmm.
won that game.
Mm-hmm.
And we're having a conversation post, during the game. It was like, obviously, you can't give the MVP to the defense, but at the end of the day, they won it. I mean, offense. Listen to me, and you got to give. I'm a big Spags fan, right? From the Giants and stuff. Spags did what he was supposed to do. He limited Barkley, because if Barkley had a big game, they would have scored 70 points. I mean, it.
Yeah,
Barkley's they would have scored 70 points.
Mm-hmm.
Spags' number one job, every commentator's job is you got to control Barkley. Keep him wide. Don't let him break through, because he was averaging – by the time he got touched, he was already 2 to 4 yards.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't even getting touched.
Right.
And he makes one break. This kid's fast. So Spags did his job. If you look at the numbers, I mean, comparison, right, from just pure numbers, I mean, it's, it was 345 total yards to 275. I mean, you're talking about 25 and, 70 more yards. That's not that dramatic. It's a lot of yards, right? Passing yards, 226 to 210. I mean, he had 380 something his last time, Jalen Hurts. 226 was Kansas City. Rushing yards, 135 rushing yards to 49. That's the other thing. Kansas City, they did a terrible. That's where they need to be enemy. They rushing 4 guys, run a screen, do something. They were doing nothing to be able to go in there.
Yeah, but they couldn't block. They couldn't block them. You couldn't get a screen off against them, because it was a couple times that they tried, and they were standing right there in the middle of it. He just threw it. So there was no way he was getting the screen. As fast as they were getting there, no, that wasn't happening.
Right. We see Eric. I see you in your green room. We're gonna let you in right now. Okay, but if I'm just telling you these yards right now, there's no way you would think this game was that dominant like it was, right? So Spags did what he had to do, but man, I think Reed and those guys just did a terrible job offensively, right? They couldn't protect Mahomes. I mean, and then look, at the end of the day, I'm just telling you. But now look at where the numbers differ. Do you agree the numbers I just gave you weren't that significant to say, hey, this was a 40-22 game? And personally, that 20, it was really 40, in my opinion, to 10. Right?
I'm like this. Yeah, I fully agree.
That long bomb was a long bomb, but really it was 40 to 10. That was a 30-point game,
you look at it, they were all junk yards, all of it.
Yeah.
I get it.
22 points, all of it was just junk.
The
game was already
legitimate 10 points and 3 points were okay. I'll give them the 10, but the other.
I'm not giving them that, Vic. I'm with Byron on that. That was cosmetic points, straight up, literally. The game was over.
But just the numbers I gave you, it was okay. This is where it starts changing. 21 first downs to 12. Okay. They had the ball for pretty much 14 minutes. They had the ball for a quarter, an entire quarter longer than the Chiefs. I mean, it was a pure defensive mastery. They put the game, Eric, I don't know if you were listening earlier. What I was saying, I've always said about the Chiefs when you asking me, well, why do you expect them to blow out this and that? The game they played in that Super Bowl was the game that I felt that they had in them, and I thought they should have done to any of those. I mean, because the Chiefs are still a great team. You know what I mean? If they play them again, they got different things. But Chiefs are a good team. But that's the type of game that I felt they had in them against the weaker teams in during the season. I mean, they had the players. They had the dominant. I said the Eagles were a better team. Even though I picked the Chiefs, on paper, the Chiefs were a better team. And having these numbers, I mean, 6 sacks, 2 turnovers. They had 6 punts to 2 punts. I mean, they allowed 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown. It was just a dominant defensive game that was just amazing to watch. Sad to see a lousy Super Bowl. Eric?
You may have felt like it's a lousy Super Bowl, but I felt like it was one of the greatest ones
Of course.
in the whole wide world. And that's just me being a fan. That's just me being a fan. That's me being an Eagles guy. That's just me watching the game. Now, and as well as playing the game also. Coach Byron knew, you know too. Big people beat up little people. Period. Point blank. That's it.
That's right.
And
We lost you, Eric. You there? Or is that me?
no, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, because I was looking at, because you like to pull out the stats. I had some stats for you today. I was like, I'm about to roll something out for you today. But for big people to beat up little people, that's what we saw. That's it. And then you roll out an offensive line, a makeshift offensive line at that. Listen, I respect the guard that they put at tackle, but he a guard for a reason. And on top of that, listen, you gonna say that Andy Reid didn't prepare those guys to play? They was prepared. Just sometimes you just gotta, excuse my language on y'all show, you gotta take the ass kicking. You just gotta take it. It is what it is, and you just roll. You just count your wounds and say, you know what, that's what happened to us. That's it happens sometimes. No matter, like they say, any given Sunday you can win, right? That's what happened.
I hear you. Again, I think that they played the game that I was expecting to see over the last 3 years, just not expecting in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs, be honest with you. But that's a game I believe they have the ability to play on a consistent basis, right? And that
have you won championships in your lifetime? I'm
Yes.
asking your football career. Have you won championships in your lifetime?
Yes.
And do you know? So you understand the hunt of trying to get one, but then you also understand when you win the championship, everybody hunting you, and that's a different look. And they was going for a 3-peat, right? So some people that's a part of the organization now don't understand that they were being hunted. That's why they had the deer in the headlights look. Like, oh my God. I just got finished watching a podcast. I don't even know the guy's name, but he was on the sideline crying from the Chiefs, number 90. And he said to Shady McCoy, because he jumped on they show today, that the Eagles offensive and defensive line came out with a different type of fire. Now, when you step in any circle with a man and he whoop your behind, and then you turn around and say he came out with a different type of fire, that means you wasn't supposed to be fighting. You're supposed to be running. Like the first time he hit you and you like, oh shit, like what was that? That's when you say, you know what, I'm swallowing my pride. I'm gonna learn how to turn into a track star this day. Not because you scared or you can't take the hit. You just know it's different. And that's what happened. That's exactly how they went down. I don't want to go too far into who should have won the MVP and all of that other stuff. I'm just happy that we about to walk down Broad Street. Have a chance to share that with my son.
Do you think someone other than Jalen should have won the MVP?
No, he did it. He did the job that needed to be done. See, the thing is everybody want these cookie cutter ways of how a quarterback should be. Well, long as you win, that's all that matter. At the end of the day, it don't matter how many yards you can throw for.
I only brought that up because you mentioned Cam. At the end of the day, he was deserving of the MVP. Played a great game.
Did he not win the game?
Yeah.
On the offensive side. Yeah, we can talk about the defense, but the defense didn't put up all the points.
Yeah, but Josh,
they put up one touchdown.
Wait a second. That's a different issue. Okay. Go ahead, Byron. Go ahead, Byron.
Josh Sweat had 2.5 sacks. He was a big factor. He was a big factor. As far as them, taking control of the line of scrimmage. So if
field
you're
position,
going to give it to, or you had the young kid Cooper Eugene, running, returning.
he scored 8 touchdowns. He scored 8 touchdowns.
What about that
Yeah, he
linebacker
played-
who caught that ball on the 20-yard line?
Field position. He didn't pick the ball up and run it in for the end zone, did he? Did I see? Did you see Braun throw it to Devontae?
I think.
Did you see Cooper throw it to AJ? No. It was about turnovers and field position. That's what they gave us. That's their job. What are we saying?
Defense. Yeah, but it's their job. But you still got to execute, right? You got to execute. You got to make those passes. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins dropped a pass. Kelsey dropped 2 passes. That's
I don't want to talk about them. Y'all asked me about Jalen Hurts. That's what y'all asked me.
No.
I don't want to talk about all of that. I want to talk about Jalen Hurts because the slander on Jalen Hurts is this boy can't play.
No, you mentioned I don't want to talk about the MVP. My question was if you thought someone else would have won it. You said no, and that was it. But then you started getting into all the offense. And I think, at least from my perspective, what I understood before you came on the show, that game was won by the defensive play of the Eagles. The Eagles' defense dominated that game from the first minute to the very last minute.
I'm gonna say something because I'm gonna say something, right? Everybody that came into this game and said, "Who do you have to stop?"
Saquon.
Exactly. So they threw the kitchen sink at Saquon. Now, before the game even started, before the game was even played, they were saying what? Jalen Hurts ain't gonna get it done. Not only did he throw two touchdown passes, and he bombed them. They wasn't regular. Hold on, that's my dog going off.
So good. Eric, what are your thoughts? I mean, Saul.
I mean, the defense did the job, but you got to sit there and give kudos to Jalen Hurts on the performance that he made, too. He sat there. The Kansas City Chiefs defense couldn't do anything with him at all. I mean, literally, I don't even think he got even sacked. He didn't even get touched during the game.
No, he got he was sacked twice, and he threw an interception.
Okay.
So he got sacked twice, and he threw an interception, right? And I thought he did a good job. He played the game. Don't get me wrong, and I'm okay with him winning the MVP. The issue isn't that, but at the end of the day, they don't say defense wins championships for no reason, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
And that defense was fire. I mean, that was.
They did their job, bro.
You
ain't gonna give me that. They did their job. Everybody did their job.
Well, there's a big difference between doing your job and excelling at your job, and they excelled at their job. I mean, that was a just pure performance on executing a defensive scheme as best as you can. Rushing only 4 guys, 6 sacks, 2 interceptions, fumble recoveries. Putting teams in positions to score. I mean, I don't think there was a minute that defense wasn't playing at its full peak. Byron?
This is my 2 cents I'm gonna put in. I've always liked Jalen Hurts, as a quarterback. Going back to his Alabama days, he's always been, that guy. Even when when he got pulled, and Tua took the spot, and he transferred to Oklahoma. He was a Heisman Trophy, candidate, and you have to give it to him that even like the last Super Bowl, if they had won, he would have been the MVP because he played that well. He had 300 yards and almost
380 something yards.
Yeah, and then with this game, same thing. He put up the numbers, but you have to think, it all goes back to Kellen Moore getting away from. He wants to throw the ball all the time. I understand that they got A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith. They're loaded, the receiver. But this year's offense, they finally figured out Kellen Moore. The ball, everything runs through Saquon. If Saquon gets on a roll, those deep passes are going to be open, which they were. Spags, he did a good job, as far as bottling up, Saquon. But what happened? He forgot, or maybe he didn't remember that Jalen Hurts could take off and hurt you too. Which is what happened quite a few times. So he deserved.
Did he not do that? He was running all over the place.
And he deserved, the MVP, trophy, because they normally give it to offensive guy anyway. But he earned it, and he deserved it. Then go to the other side of the ball. People forget that Vic Fangio has been around 37 years. He's been around a long time. Long time. He goes back. So we need to give this guy, his kudos that he, whatever happened down in Miami, people didn't sour on him. He came up to Minnesota to Philadelphia, like, hey, I can work with these guys. All I need them to do is to buy in. And guess what? They bought in because at all three levels, they have elite players. And it's the truth. They do. But he was able to put all that together and do his thing where they're the number one ranked defense. So you got to give Kellen Moore, a kudos because he changed, adapted, didn't want to throw the ball over the place like he's done in the past. You have to give Vic Fangio, to put all these different guys, all these different, what do you want to call them? Not behaviors, but personalities.
Call them misfits.
They're not misfits. But
these guys are players. They're not misfits.
All these different personalities on defense, and he was able to put it all together, and look what happened. Number one ranked defense. They beat down the Chiefs, and they got a ring. It is what it is.
Yeah, they had to rattle. They had to rattle Mahomes, and they did what they had to do. They had to continue get field position. They did. They had to get the sacks, the turnovers, and I don't think they didn't account. Jalen ran for 72 yards. Yep. I mean, he's average.
What he had to do to win the game.
72 yards is a lot of run. That's a lot of yards for a quarterback. Where he, when his knee, I'm telling you, his knee was hurting him last year. This year it wasn't. 72 yards, he killed him.
How many yards Saquon's have? How many yards does Saquon?
57.
Yeah.
But he had 25 touches. So Kellen Moore kept forcing them to do what they had. In other words, I think Kellen Moore did a great job. Even though he had 57 yards, he kept feeding him the ball. But he also had 40 yards receiving, right? So giving him the ball, forcing Spags to say, I better, because Saquon is good. I don't know, it's 25 yards. If they weren't continually blocking him up, Saquon was good for busting 1 for 7. He would easily been over 100, right?
They showed on the all 22. There was two opportunities that he had a chance to break a run. One of the two he missed the hole. The other one he actually tripped and fell. Like he didn't even get touched, and he would have been going, and nobody would have caught him. So, like. Listen, man, football is like y'all know. Football is a game of inches. Like they came out, they threw the kitchen sink at Saquon. Like you said, they may have forgot about Jalen, but Jalen did his job. And the only thing that I'm gonna say is to Coach Byron, thank you for breaking it down the way that you did. I wish other individuals would do that because we all get amnesia about how they say Jalen to a certain was a bum and he didn't do nothing. He couldn't throw. He couldn't do all of these different things. But now all of a sudden, oh my God, did you see him run for all of those yards? He been running. He been throwing like that. He just haven't done it to the extent in this season because we got this horse. We got this thoroughbred in the backfield. All he want to do is giddy up all day. Okay, we going to smack him on his ass and tell him to go.
Hey, look, there was a game where Jalen gave the ball to Saquon. Saquon only got 3 yards downfield, and Jalen put his hands up for touchdown. He knew it. So, Jalen knew what he had there. They played a great game. And Jalen, there was no confusion. Jalen could run. But Jalen didn't run last year. I'm telling you, his knee, he had a problem with his knee. He had issues. This year, I think he was healthy, and he did what he needed to do. He's tough. I mean, I've always liked Jalen as a quarterback. It's just there's just a lot of good quarterbacks in the league, right? Yeah, but when you start combining this team with its offense and defense, Saquon made a big difference in this team.
Yeah, but the problem was that Kellen Moore.
What's that?
The problem was that Kellen Moore was still in that you might as well say that Dallas Cowboy mode where he wants to throw the ball to the tight end. He wants to push the ball down the field. And that's what he wanted to do. But I guess, once those guys, and they said that the lineman went to him like, hey, we need to get a ball to Saquon. I can't believe I said his name, but we need to get a ball to Saquon.
Yes, I knew I'd get you.
I'll let that go.
I knew I'd get you. Say it again.
Whatever.
I'm going to put it on rewind.
Well, hold on.
Saquon.
Coach Byron, let me ask you a question. Do you fought more for doing that? Like you said, he only been here a year. He hasn't even been here a full year before now he's moving on. But, of course he's going to have that attitude towards the running backs. Look where he came from. They didn't have no running backs there. So then when you get a guy like Saquon, you never seen this type of animal before.
No.
When you finally give it, huh?
That's it. That's been his MO wherever he was. He just didn't have a Saquon. And what happens is sometimes these coaches are creatures of habit, right? And no one was expecting Saquon to do what he did. I'm happy that he did, but Saquon was a beast. I mean, look at all the records he broke. He's got records for yards. He's got records for the most the most amount of
he only needed 30, right?
Over 50 yards. He's got like 10 to 12 rushes for over 50 yards.
And I think most total yards in the season rushing 2,500.
Rushing. He broke Terrell Davis's record.
That's in the playoff era. I mean, the Super Bowl era, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So I mean, they and for the line to go to him and tell him that it worked, right? It worked. They didn't need to have the pieces that they had. So, again, I got nothing but kudos for. I wasn't expecting a game like that. I got none but kudos for that defense. I got none kudos for the best part for me though was when they stuck it to them by throwing that ball to Devontae Smith
in his hometown.
He just threw that bomb. That bomb was on the
in his hometown, and he got the record. He also has a record too for yards, leading receiver in the playoff era in the Super Bowl.
Devontae Smith.
Yeah, he did it twice. He did it the first time around, and he did it this time around for the leading receiver. But this time he just happened to do it in the Super Bowl in his own town.
But look, even though we're talking about this stuff, Kellen Moore still did the same thing in this game. I mean, look at the receivers. The guy who had the most receptions was Saquon. Saquon had 6. Devontae only had 4. AJ Brown had 3. Jahan Dotson had 2. Goddard got 2. Goddard got 2. Barkley got the most receptions receiving than any of the receivers. So, that tells you that they had great field position, and that tells you that how good Devontae Adams and A.J. Brown are, because between them, they only had 7 receptions and 2 touchdowns. That's a pretty good number.
I don't know. I mean, you played before, so if you was a defensive coordinator, you probably did the same thing. Like, we're gonna throw the kitchen sink at this guy and pray that our guys could play man up. I think they can hold up.
I think the factor, me playing, I will tell you that playing defensive back, especially as a defensive back, Byron may have a different version because he was up front. So, he was the front, there's the middle, and I'm on the back, right? The problem is that you're covering these receivers, and then you got a quarterback that can run. It is terrible. Because now you got a guy you got to leave, and you got to come up and catch this guy with all this open field, right? And it's not easy. It's as much as I'm gonna
ask you on the other side of that. Vic Fangio played the same defense, cover 2, high cover 2, turned into a 4 over. So what was Pat Mahomes looking at? Because they didn't run the ball at all.
He was looking at the lineman. Well, here's where I think he's looking at the lineman coming at him. Here's where I think they messed up, right? I think that they kept running that RPO. You ain't got time to run that RPO. The linemen were on you. You can't run. You can't fake the run when by the time you have the fake, they're already on your butt. I think that's where they messed up. They had to change this up. Byron says they could have done screens, but every time they were doing it, Byron, they were trying to fake the handoff. This guy, Mahomes, had zero time. I mean, even that interception to that linebacker.
Coach Byron, you said run a screen?
No, I didn't say run a screen. I said
he said they couldn't run screens.
Oh, I was about to say run a screen against Jalen Carter. You asking for it?
No. And then when you look at the way they lined up, the two ends, them ends were wide. They were really wide outside the tackle, both of them, all game long, and they as deep as the the quarterback, and don't run past him because that's when Patrick go up under him. But because they got them two big old boys and even Milton Williams, them three big old jokers in the middle. Okay, all right, we're gonna force it. We're gonna have him come up. He's gonna try to step up. Now you got one of those three in your face. Where's he gonna go? Nowhere.
You know what I didn't understand about the O-line play from the Chiefs? What I didn't understand, and maybe you could speak to this, Coach Byron. From what you just explained, so it seemed like they was playing a wide nine, which they wasn't. But then you keep double teaming Carter instead of just saying, you know what? You're a grown man. We pay you to block. It's time to block. Why do you keep doubling the same guy and letting these other guys beat you all day, like a drum all night, instead of just saying, all right, it's time to man up and earn your check? Like Kelsey, it was a couple of times Kelsey was at the tight end spot. He's supposed to be chipping. He let Josh Sweat right past him. I'm like, yo, what's up? Like, this dude don't want to play. Like, she really got his mind that messed up where he don't want to block. Like, come on, man.
They were that good, man. You figure, okay, across the front, who are you going to double? Jalen?
No, they was doubling Carter the whole time.
Yeah, and the two best linemen that were doubling them are Creed, Humphrey Creed, the center, is an all-pro center for Kansas City, and Trey Smith, the other kid, is he's been an all-pro as well. Okay, so you double Carter. What about Jordan Davis? Now you man up. He's man up on the second or third string guard because they had to move Tooney outside. So that was a weak thing right there. And then the right tackle always holding. I forgot what the guy's name is, but he's a holder. Tooney was outmanned out there because it got to a point where them guys were taking turns. Josh Sweat.
He was a turnstile.
Yeah, they were like taking turns against Joe Tooney. Joe Tooney is an all-pro guard. And they had
short arms.
Yeah, short. Yeah. So they had to move him, out there because all the other other tackles are, pretty bad. But
what I was asking you is why did as guys that play, why didn't they just say, all right, y'all got to man up? It's day 4 against R5. Like, that's it. Man up and win your badge. Not keep double teaming Carter and letting them other guys jump off the top rope.
But if you double team, if you single up Jalen Carter against any of those guys on it, he's going to win that battle. 9 times out of 10, he's going to win it. And when he did win, where was it?
But this is what you got that guy there for, right? This all-world guard that was supposed to be in front of him, that's supposed to shut him down. What happened with that?
They left him in a hotel because he looked bad.
It doesn't work that way. You come in. You can't say in one breath it's any given Sunday, and then come to what breath? Why did you do your job?
No, I didn't start it that way. Don't. If you're gonna repeat what I said,
I'm just
then
saying.
I ain't start. I said big people beat up little people. That's exactly what I said when I first got on here.
Right. What I'm saying to you though, on any given Sunday, one guy is going to beat up on another guy, right? And their offensive line was not a good offensive line, and the defensive line for the Eagles was superior to begin with. They were already superior, so you got a superior defensive line going against a weak offensive line. I mean, that's a tough battle to win. No matter how much you get paid, no matter how much you do, you're going to try your best. Right, you'll have guys that come. Sometimes they'll surprise you. You're going to try your best, but that defense, 3 deep, that defense for Chiefs was just outstanding. from the line to the linebackers to your defensive backs, that was your weakest part for the last couple of years. They were playing all out. You were fully set in every position on defense.
Okay,
you
so
guys, man for man, were better.
I'm not here to argue. I don't want to argue anymore. But what I want to do is I want to ask you a question. All right, we talked about the defense of the Eagles, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about they defensive line against the Chiefs' offensive line. My question is now, what was the defensive line of the Chiefs doing against the Eagles' offensive line?
I'm gonna say that again. The same thing as goes with the defensive line. The average size of those guys was 6'6", 335 pounds. Probably the biggest guy that Chris Jones has. Chris Jones is probably their best lineman. He was getting mauled by them. He did.
Mekhi Becton? No, don't say his name now. But he saw Mekhi Becton and said, "I'm gonna go over there." And then when he said, "I'm gonna go over there," he went over to Jordan Mailata and he treated him. Then he tried to go to Dickerson, and then he tried beef jerky. He was like, "Well, let me go over here to Lane. Lane might be doing something," and none of that worked.
No. Besides,
you're talking about the defense was on the field for an entire quarter longer than they were. I mean, the Eagles had the possession of the ball for an entire quarter more than the Chiefs. That's a long time. That's just a long time. And what killed them was some of the penalties, but really what killed them was Hurts running. Hurts running just destroyed them. They had 21 first downs to 11. There's only so much a defense can do. You're asking the defense to play a full quarter extra. That's a long time, Byron.
If you're trying to win a three-peat, I ain't trying to hear nothing you guys say. They talked all of that. You talking? We gonna come in here and win a three-peat? They had the shirts already made. They in Africa somewhere now. Like, ain't nobody trying to hear that. You talking all this three-peat stuff? You line these dudes up. You put your best dude out there. He talking about we gonna do a three-peat. If you get a chance, go on YouTube and look at the NFL. They got them all mic'd up. They was talking crazy before they got out there until they got hit in the mouth. Everybody got a plan until you get in the ring with Tyson, right? We talking about the old Tyson, not the new Tyson. So I'm just saying, like, what we talked about our defensive line. What was their defensive line doing? Don't tell me about the time of possession that they had and all that. When they was talking crazy, they wasn't talking about no time of possession.
Byron, you want to answer that?
Yeah, but besides on the defensive line for the Chiefs, besides Chris Jones, who you know on that defensive line? None of them. Carlisle, defensive end. You said it. Stop it. When you have,
I just said it. You said it the nice way. I just said it the right way.
I know. But when you have an offensive line that averages 6'6", 335 pounds, and they're athletic and they're just big, and you're on the field a long time, you're not getting you're not getting a break. Hey, all good things come to an end, and on both sides of the ball, they got mauled. The Philadelphia offensive line is the best offensive line in all of football.
It was once a person that told me that he ran a 4.740, and I think you 6'6". You might be 6'4", right? 6'4", 6'5". And you showed me a picture of you when back in the day, because I remember I was running my mouth and I said, I think I can get you. You said, no. And you showed me a picture and I said, no, I wouldn't have got you. like that. So that means I humbled myself to know that, okay, I ain't supposed to be out there with a monster like yourself. So what I'm asking you is, before the game started, I don't know if y'all saw it, they was talking crazy until they got hit. And I get it. They out there with a bunch of guys that look like you when you was young, right?
Bigger.
They get paid too. At what point are you going to step up and do your job? All right, we shut down Saquon.
You could pay.
That's all they can say.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Other than that, we got curve stop.
That was your game plan. I mean, that was every competition. If you don't stop Saquon, you're going to get destroyed by 70 points, right?
So you're saying pick your poison. Which poison do you think look good?
They picked
pretty much.
they picked stopping Saquon, and it didn't work. Right?
Didn't work.
But
And got embarrassed.
But that's what they did because at the end of the day, I mean, it's not like the first downs, Jalen Hurts running. But you're talking about if you look at the stats just overall, the biggest stats were them keeping the ball, continually moving, driving the ball down the field, and having great field position. I mean, you put the 7 points on the touchdown. You take the next 7 points on the interception on the 20-yard line. I mean, that's defense. That's 14 points right there. And it was just. They had some big yards playing, but overall, I mean, they rushed for 135 yards. Barkley usually rushes for that on his own. They passed. Yeah, exactly. They passed for 210 yards. Patrick passed for 226 yards, right?
You count that?
What's that?
You count that?
Well, the one big pick. Well, you had Devontae's big pick too, big throw too. So you had that, and you had Xavier's, right? So just overall, but the domination of the defense, and then Jalen Hurts controlling the game, is what made them great. I mean, they played all facets of that game. They played great. I mean, that's how I look at it, right? That team on paper.
A question.
Yeah. Wait, hold on a second. Hey, Saul, what do you got, Saul? I want to give Saul a few minutes.
I mean, I'm listening to you guys, man. I mean, you guys are covering mostly everything I would probably say. So, I mean, I definitely agree with every single one. I think every point that every one of you guys brought up, you guys got volume points. You guys got valid points on each and every point about this. It's just a methodical beatdown, regardless. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's just what it comes down to. And literally, I get what you're saying, Vic, about the defense, but Jalen Hurts got to distribute that ball. That's just regardless, no matter what. And even with the 2 sacks and the 1 interception, the defense did what they were supposed to do. I think the Eagles as a whole were tired of getting disrespected, and that's what it came down to. That's exactly that. Literally was one of those, as much as nobody don't want to hear it, Philadelphia fans can clearly tell everybody they not like us, and that is the theme. That whole Super Bowl was a theme. The Eagles clearly sat there and said they not like us. Kendrick Lamar clearly told a lot of people in the world they not like us. So with that being said, it was a whole theme on Sunday, and the Eagles came in. Took what was theirs. They was like, you know what? We're coming to take it, and they took it. That's just what it come down to.
Mm-hmm. Byron,
because you know how hard it was for me to pick the Philadelphia Eagles, man. It was almost killing me.
Well, I mean, you ain't really picked the Eagles. You picked Saquon. We know who you picked.
He definitely didn't.
And I got a jersey for you, so
No, I picked.
He wouldn't even say his name.
I picked the Philadelphia Eagles, and the score I picked was 42-28. That's the score I picked. That's what I know I picked. So
he did pick a blowout. You can see
in the cars, man, that it was going to be a beatdown just because of the line. I'm a defensive line. I'm a defensive line and offensive line coach, and just looking at it that way is like, you know what? This is a bad matchup. You could see it, on paper, that was a bad matchup.
Right. So let me ask you a question, right? Let's flip the game, right? Let's say they decided to let's not focus on stopping Saquon.
Oh, that would have been fun.
How do you see the game play out differently?
Oh God, I think it might have been worse.
I agree. I just want to hear. I want to hear you. Go ahead, Saul. I'll let you go.
Man, I got one.
That man would have had over 200 yards rushing and about 4 touchdowns.
Exactly.
It would have been like a flag football game. It would have been like a flag football game. It would have been like flag.
Oh my God! I almost had an asthma attack. Oh my God!
What would happen?
Yeah, listen, remember that time? This probably when Byron played back in the day. And you seen this man run down the field, and there was another man chasing him, but they said he looked like a silver bullet in black and silver, and he was running so fast he got to the hallway, and they had to tell him to turn back around. His name was Bo Jackson. That's what it would have looked like.
Yeah.
You know, when Bo Jackson hit that sideline, you knew what it was.
Byron, what do you got?
Saquon the modern day.
No, I'm just what Eric just said, man. It would have been bad. You know, if they didn't like focus the way that they did on Saquon, it would have been like for real a flag football game.
Which is what I started this whole conversation with, right? They did what they had to do. The number one piece they needed to do was to make sure Saquon doesn't dominate that game. Because I'm telling you, if they didn't do that they would have scored 70 points. It would have been because once Saquon gets loose, now A.J. Brown is loose, Devontae Smith is loose, Jalen Hurts is loose. I mean, it would have been a disaster. So he, like I said, from the fact that I see that he has 72 yards running and 21 first downs, a lot of those first downs Jalen Hurts got. They were behind. He got a lot of those first downs, right? I mean, so at the end of the day, I don't think there's anything they could have done other than trying to, putting more people in the back, adding another tight end, doing something. They had to stop that line because, Mahomes couldn't do anything. I mean, he looked rattled. His eyes looked rattled. Everything.
They going to cut your show off. Talking like that. You keep talking like the Kansas City fans is going. They going to flood y'all line. You got to chill.
They can flood them all they want. I picked the Eagles last time against the Chiefs.
Listen, they already peed off because the Eagles fans. I ain't gonna lie, I'm one of them. But they was teasing them as they was walking out the stadium. So yeah, they got to chill.
You do got to go. Look, at the end of the day, you got to give the Chiefs some kind of credit to get to the Super Bowl 3 times in a row. That's hard. I mean, when was the last time a team?
When the refs help you.
Personally, that's true. I would have rather seen Buffalo play that game.
Me too. Not when the refs is helping you.
Because that call against Buffalo where that guy caught that ball and hit the ground, that was terrible. That was
the call on A.J. Brown was crazy. They told him "Yo, the camera on you, dummy. What you throw that for?"
I would have liked to seen the Bills in the Super Bowl. I think they would have played a better game.
Josh Allen would have put on the show.
And I think he would have put on the show. Still were better, but I think that the Bills overall had a better team. Right? Cook is a good running back. They got good receivers. Josh Allen is good. I still think the outcome would have been the Eagles.
Josh Allen would have put on the show. White Lightning would have put on the show.
I think the Eagles still would have won that game, but I think they would have played a better game than the Chiefs played.
It would have been closer. I'll say that. It would have definitely been closer.
I would have done them in a closer game, and it would have been a better Super Bowl. But I still think the Chiefs would have won that game.
Don't even worry about it. You might see it again because the way how things go. You don't think the Chiefs gonna make it back?
Oh, they're gonna make it back. They're not done. They're not done by far.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need.
I mean, I love Lamar, but he keep choking, bro. Like,
yeah, I think Buffalo's on the cusp of getting there. They were bad calls away from. They should have been in the Super Bowl. Do we agree? Those calls with the Chiefs were just terrible.
I agree.
The thing with that game, the Buffalo and the Chiefs game, every time McDermott see Andy Reid in the fourth quarter, he tightened up, man. I don't understand. Like, just
he does
keep going. Like I don't understand it, man. I don't understand it.
Those 4 plays at the end of the game when Buffalo had the ball had to be the worst 4 plays I've ever seen.
Agreed.
Well, they stopped running the ball.
4 plays. Yeah. All he needed was a friggin' field goal with Josh Allen. There's no way in the world. I thought either Josh Allen was going to win the game or they were going to tie the game. No way in the world what I would have thought. that what happened. Those four last plays were the worst 4 plays I can imagine, other than Brandon Staley, were the worst 4 plays I could have saw. Number one.
We went all the way back to that guy.
And then I don't understand. What I don't understand is, look, the push-tush works because it goes right up the middle, up your ass. Right up the middle, right up the gut, right over the center, and it works. Right? The Bills are known for Josh Allen to go over the left tackle. That's not an easy rush. Why do you do it again against a Spagnuolo team? He knows you're going to do that. Now, granted, I still think it was a first down, but at the end of the day, don't leave it in the ref's hands. Go up the middle. Why?
That's what I said.
You go to the left. Everybody knew where the ball was going. Everybody. And you got Chris Allen, and you got Jones there. You got to be kidding. It was just that was the worst.
He was offsides on that play too, right?
Everything was wrong.
He was clearly offsides. He turned his whole body sideways. Yep. And I'm like, nobody else see this?
And so you agree those 4 plays were the worst 4 plays?
I just shook my head. I'm like, y'all Buffalo caused themselves that game too. Even though that we sit there and say that when Kansas City play at Arrowhead, they always get that home cooking.
Yeah,
Buffalo shot themselves in the foot as well. And I mean, literally. So, I think
you saying they shot their own self in the foot?
Yeah.
In a sense, yes, they did.
In other words, if you eat 2 things, what I understand him to say is 2 things. One, you got home cooking against you, so that's a problem. But then you can't be your own problem.
Right.
Bills were. Right? So you're your own problem, and you got the other problem on the other side. I don't get it.
In the park cars
it's no different. What I don't understand, Saul and Byron, is look at when Lamar Jackson lost the game because they were going for 2. They had him running to the left side with no receivers flooding that way. He's a right-handed quarterback. Run to the right side. You got Josh Allen running up the side. Run around. I don't understand I don't get paid what these guys paid, but man, something's wrong with some of these. I think these analytics are hurting the way these coaches coach because
they put too much in.
Some of it is so.
So you saying they're not doing they're not doing just the common sense test of what should happen.
They're getting. I think they're just getting. You know how when you have too much information, you're second guessing as opposed to playing to your gut, to playing to what you feel has worked.
What coaches like that in the league that we could talk about?
Coaches like what?
Where, like you said, they play with their gut.
I think the Detroit Lions coach plays that way. I think Washington.
Yeah.
I think
he played recklessly, yo. He's so reckless.
I'm just telling you who my opinion.
No. I'm not saying no that he don't, but I'm just saying
or wrong. You ask me, the coaches that play with their gut is Dan Quinn and Dan Campbell. I think those 2 guys played the most 4th downs. They won the most 4th downs. They play tough football. In my opinion, if you're asking me, that's who I would say that plays a little bit more with their gut.
I'm a little upset you ain't say my guy.
Sirianni?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Sirianni, the jury's out with me with Sirianni. I can't tell you. I think you got a great team. I think he's good. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it with Sirianni.
Let me help you out. Super Bowl winning champion head coach Sirianni.
Yeah, and I guarantee you,
you don't like to say it, but it's true.
I guarantee you this: if he has a bad season this year, he's going to be on the hot seat again. That's how bad.
Hey man, listen, this Philly, he on the hot seat right now as we speak.
That's my point.
He get up there on the podium and say something crazy downtown. What?
Andy Reid is not on the hot seat. Dan Campbell's not on the hot seat. Dan Quinn's not on the hot seat. This guy wins the Super Bowl. He'll be in the hot seat if he loses. If he goes 6-5.
I ain't gonna lie to you. Ain't nobody looking forward to going to Detroit. Let's just keep it 100. There's only one guy that's gonna take that job. Who? And they sure as hell ain't trying to go. Where else you said?
Who's this?
What other team? Nobody want to go to Buffalo. It's too damn cold until they put something over the dome. Ain't nobody gonna stand out there in that mess. So
I
I'm
won't even
surprised this
think
guy went to the Saints. I don't even know why he went down there, but it is what it
So he
is.
could be a head
I
coach.
don't. Well, he
Well, he
went there
getting
to be
bread.
head
He
coach.
getting money,
Yeah,
but he gonna have a bag on his head too.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause they're a mess down there.
the Saints are a mess. I mean, if he can turn that around, then he's truly a good coach. But I mean, I think he went for the money. That's a difficult position. And then Saul, I want to ask you a question. Look at the division that Kansas City's in. That has like 4 Hall of Fame coaches with
Yeah,
3
yeah.
phenomenal quarterbacks. And if the
Mhm.
Raiders get a quarterback, that division is tough.
It's back to prominence
Is
again.
Deion Stein going into the Raiders?
No, they already.
You don't think
They already
so?
got. They took who they picked. They picked what's his name, Schottenheimer, right? Who's the coach
What?
for the
That's for Dallas.
No,
That's
Dallas.
That's Dallas.
Yeah,
That's
that's
Dallas.
Dallas.
Who's the
Carroll.
coach? Pete Carroll. That's what I'm saying. They got 4 Hall of Fame coaches. Pete
Mhm,
Carroll. And supposedly
mhm.
Russell Wilson's going there.
Mhm.
Russell Wilson going to where?
The Raiders.
The Raiders are talking to him. He wants to go back
What?
with Pete Carroll.
Or Aaron Rodgers.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Viking. Honestly, I think he's going to the
Room
Vikings.
eating Aaron.
I think he's going to follow that. I think he's going to follow that path. I know they got that rookie. Well, the rookie had tore his ACL, and I know they're going to have him play if he's ready to go next season for the Vikings. But I
Who we
wouldn't be
talking about?
surprised.
Aaron Rodgers going? He's going to
Where
LA.
Saul? Where are you saying? Where are
I
you saying?
mean,
I wouldn't be surprised he could be a backup for the Vikings.
Nah.
Who?
Wait a minute. Wait.
he's not.
You know who else the quarterback up there with Vikings? We all know my guy, Danny Dimes, is the number 2 quarterback.
Oh, I
up
forgot all about him.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I don't think I can't imagine Aaron Rodgers going anywhere to be a backup. I think he's either going to retire or he's going to go to a place he could start.
Isn't he like 40?
Yeah.
41 or 42.
Yeah, the mushrooms ain't gonna hold up.
I don't think he's going to go. I don't think he'll go to a place to be a backup. I mean, he didn't even like them drafting Jordan Love. He's not going to go somewhere to be a backup.
He still got that chip on his shoulder from being drafted last, and then having to sit behind Brett Favre out there. He tripping.
He need to let that go, man. He's made more
He
money
need
than
to.
you can imagine. He won a Super Bowl. He's just all kind of records. He hold MVP and stuff, man. All that woe with me stuff, man. Let it go, man. Let it go.
Well, he got the coach fired with the Jets. Then turned around and brought his boy
by
in.
the way, was a terrible move.
Agreed.
Their average yards went up by 100. Their points went up by 9. I mean, like, what's wrong with you? And then, Saul, I don't know if you know that his record was like 80-something-2 when his defense held teams to less than 20 points.
I know.
Do you know that Salah's last 2 years with no quarterback with a lousy Jet team averaged 19.8 per game? Why would you get rid of him?
Shoot, I remember when the Jets beat us without Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, I know what Robert Saleh can do. And when you brought Aaron Rodgers, that was the departure of Saleh just waiting to happen. We all seen that.
We ain't give him a hug or a pound, right?
What
you hugging me for?
That was the worst decision. I was upset with that. I liked Saleh. I thought Saleh was a great coach and great defensive coach, and that's all you needed.
Where is he at now?
He chilling.
In Detroit?
San Francisco.
San Fran? Oh, he went back home.
Yeah. He's defensive coordinator there, no?
He was there before, and he left.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
They gonna need him because they talking about getting rid of Brock Purdy.
Oh wow.
He get ready to get that $55 to $60 million.
I don't think Brock Purdy's going anywhere. He could get paid.
I don't know. I was watching the Talking Heads on ESPN.
They're gonna have there's gonna be a Disney movie with Brock Purdy. He's gonna be called Mr. Irrelevant.
Well, Debo leaving?
Yeah.
Where y'all think he gonna land at? New York. Y'all got the bread and y'all got the players.
We need a lot of things.
No, he's gonna go to Philadelphia, just like Myles Garrett. He's gonna end up Philadelphia. So any high profile guy that's out there, they're gonna all go to Philadelphia.
I don't know, because the way that shit, how we be doing them shady tree deals, man. They ain't trying to hear that. They want the bread up front.
Yeah, but let me tell you something. Myles Garrett, I give him credit. He point blank said, "I need to go to a team where we have a quarterback," and they've had 50,000 quarterbacks. And I want to go on the record that I was right. That I said that the Deshaun Watson deal is going to be one of the best deals or the worst deal in history, and it turned out to be the worst deal in history.
Mm-hmm.
And the other big name, Micah Parsons. Thinking about trading him to Dallas.
Why? So he could talk about your whole team and tell all the business.
They're thinking about
he might as well go to the. He might as well go to the Giants.
They don't want to pay him.
Exactly. That's why he needs to go to the Giants. He'll straighten all that out.
You got two guys that have 57% of the cap.
No, what's his name? It was like 90. Dak Prescott. It was like some crazy.
Lord, why you even bring his name up? You heard what he did this week, right?
No, I didn't hear. What happened?
Oh yeah, don't even worry about it because we already put foot to ass to the Eagles, so I don't even understand why they won the Super Bowl. Like, we just gonna do it this year again. Like Dak, you told everybody on your team they suck. Then you buy him a golf cart and think everything cool after that. Like, no, they still don't like you.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Well, anyhow, again, that Super Bowl was listen, it was great for Eagles fans. It was terrible for any fan that just watching the Super Bowl because that thing was over by halftime.
I meant to ask you about that. Yeah, my favorite uncles. So, did y'all enjoy the halftime show?
I wasn't that big fan of it. I'm a Drake guy. So
Kendrick is hip hop. Drake is rap. That's the difference. It's okay. It's okay. It's the same thing as White Man Can't Jump. You can listen to Jimmy, but you can't hear Jimmy. That's what I'm gonna leave it just like that.
So okay, I'm gonna get you. I gave you my answer. What's your guys' answers?
I loved it because I knew what he was saying.
I knew what he was saying too. But...
Oh my god!
When Serena came out there and did the Crip walk, I was like,
"Oh man!"
Okay.
Hold up. You know what the Crip walk is?
Come on, man.
Byron has a reel on TikTok doing it.
Oh my god!
That's how he learned it.
Oh my god! I'm sitting there looking at this. I said, all the old people going crazy watching this.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait, one more thing. Eli Manning not getting the Hall of Fame.
Yo, what happened with that?
I think Eli, there was just too much.
They snubbed him, dude.
Yeah, they snubbed him. I think it was just too much talk about his.
They haters, yo.
Yeah. I mean, his numbers were up there. Just it wasn't enough. He's gonna get in, but just didn't get in the first time.
Was his brother a first ballot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why they did it.
No. This is what the problem was. Sterling Sharp's brother, Shannon Sharp's brother. Sterling got in. I don't think they wanted two brothers to get in at the same time. Because you already have, you have Peyton is already there. Then you would have Eli get in. Then you got Shannon's already in, and then Sterling. It was just.
Shannon. You don't think Shannon was deserving of it?
Oh, Shannon. No, yeah, I'm saying Shannon was, but his brother, has such a short career. He only played 7 years, Sterling, and
I mean, not Shannon. I'm not saying. I meant to say Sterling. You don't think Sterling was deserving of it?
Oh, absolutely. But I'm just saying, as far as the look, that you already have Shannon is there. So now you're going to put, Sterling's going in. Then if it was like Peyton is already in, but then, and I don't think, them having that kind of thing, this year, it just didn't look right for them.
So when do you think
it was easy for people to debate both sides? So they went to the side that was easiest by saying, let's wait for the next round.
So when is his opportunity?
You can debate reason. I can debate both sides why he should be in and why he shouldn't. and sometimes there's guys you can't, right?
Yeah, but
You
next
said he
year
had the
is
numbers, right?
yeah, but next year is Drew Brees and Larry Fitzgerald is next year with the class that's coming up.
I think
Drew Brees.
Fitzgerald for sure deserves to be in the
I
Hall
don't
of
know
Fame.
about Drew Brees. I don't know about that.
But Fitzgerald deserves to be in Hall of Fame. To me, he was a stud for a year, every year until he was like 38 years old as a receiver. He was good. So we'll see what happens. But I think Eli got snubbed. I would have liked to see him get in. He beat everybody he needed to beat the best to get in. He won as a wild card. He has 2 MVPs as Super Bowl champ. His brother has 2 Super Bowls, but he doesn't have 2 MVPs.
No.
But we'll go from there. Well, anyhow, gentlemen, congratulations, Eric, on your Chiefs being the world champions. I know that's big.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, Eagles. I'm getting tired. Sorry about that. Sorry.
Oh my God, yo!
Let me rewind. Congratulations on the Eagles being the world champions.
EAGLES Eagles.
Congratulations to NFC East again, taking another championship. We lead the league in championships.
And the NFC, back to the beast.
The NFC leads in Super Bowls.
Back to the beast.
They're the
It's
most
back.
Super Bowls in any conference. So
except for Dallas.
What?
Except for Dallas, because Jalen Daniels gonna hold them down.
Yeah, no, but I mean, including just all 4 teams have more Super Bowls than any other conference. Congratulations again, Saul. Hey, Saul, how can we get a hold of you? Tell us a little bit about your show.
You can also watch us at WCFL Dolphins Talk on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. And for now, we're doing Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. and Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. for the time being. So definitely come through, check us out. We can talk. We don't just talk Miami Dolphin football. We talk football as a whole. So come on through.
Awesome. Please, and check on our link below. We'll have the link to the WC Dolphin as well. Thank you for being on our show as always.
Appreciate you.
Byron, any final words?
Do you have an extra couple $1 billion laying around? The Giants put up 10% of the team for the sale. Come on, man. Come on, let's get together. Let's get together and buy 10% of the G-Man. 10%.
I'll start raising some money tomorrow if that's what's going on.
It's true. They just put it out there that they're putting up 10% of the team for sale. Come on, man. Let's get a piece of that.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. All right, gentlemen, you have a good night. Thank you very much. God bless. Always a pleasure, and we will talk soon. Same back channel. Don't forget, Spurs Boy Sports Talk. Subscribe to the Sportscast on all your channels every Thursday, 8 p.m. live on YouTube, live on Facebook. Have a great night. Good night, and God bless.
All right.